From the gunroom of the secret hidden bunker in the Rocky Mountains, I'm Michael Bain for OutdoorChannel.com and Downrange.tv. Even as we speak, firearms companies, ammunition companies, accessory companies are running the numbers trying to figure out what the passage of Obamacare, the omnibus health care bill, is going to mean to them. And when they find out, then we'll find out what it's going to mean for us. It's too early to tell, but my sources say don't be surprised if by SHOT 2011 you see substantial increases in firearms and ammunition to cover the cost of increased health care. From the Firearm Blog this week, news that the U.S. Marines want to purchase an additional 4,000 pieces of that exotic weapons system, the M45 Close Quarters Combat Pistol. What's that? Well, it's a 1911 in .45 ACP. We've said this before, but it bears repeating. When the big army is issuing phasers to their troops, the Marines will still be lobbying to get their 1911 45s back. And you know, they're pretty close to accomplishing that right now. The 4,000 new pistols will have a rail system, a military standard 1913 rail system. Accuracy, it's specified 4 inches at 25 yards, which really is no problem for any of the modern 1911s. 300 rounds between stoppages, 5,000 rounds between part breakage. Again, no problem for modern 1911s. So, will the Marines eventually get back to the 1911? I'm betting that the answer to that is yes, and I think they'll be better for it. And since we're not talking about combat Tupperware, joke, that was a joke, I've got news for all you Glock fanboys out there. The next generation of 4th gen Glocks, the G19 in 9mm, the G23 in 40 Smith & Wesson, should become available early this summer. Now, already 4th gen versions of the G17 9mm and the G22 40 Smith & Wesson are on the markets, and the response has been extremely good, according to my cherubs and seraphim. A number of military units, a number of law enforcement special units are looking at the 4th gen Glock pistols, which, as we said in our special SHOT Show episodes, is a significant improvement on an already classic platform. So if you're looking to carry a Glock, and the G19, the G23 are the classic Glock carry pistols, get ready to purchase the 4th gen model. And by the way, there are whispers that that Glock rifle that has been talked about really for a decade may finally show up. Of course, at the rate the Glock rifle is going, by the time it gets to the market, the big army will be issuing phasers to their troops. In political news from the National Rifle Association this week, the Brady organization continues its slide into irrelevancy. Now, as you may recall, Brady's interpretation of the Second Amendment was completely destroyed by the Supreme Court Heller decision. And since then, Brady's been spiraling down the tubes. Last week, Dennis Hennigan, the attorney for Brady, issued a release that said, shall issue states were suddenly experiencing huge amounts of violent crime. Except that's a lie. In fact, 36 states now are shall issue on concealed carry, and for most of those states, violent crime has continued to decline. In fact, violent crime has been declining in the United States for a decade. Of course, Brady has no answer for that. They're also continuing their attack on Starbucks for Starbucks' decision to simply let the laws stand. If a community allows open carry, Starbucks has no problem with people open carrying in the Starbucks. Of course, it is up to the individual stores on that. We next expect Brady, which recently attacked Barack Obama for not deciding to continue down the suicidal path on gun control. The next report from Brady will undoubtedly say something to the effect that, hey, global warming is caused by too many guns. Even though HBO's great series, The Pacific, has been marred by moronic comments from series creator Tom Hanks on how World War II was a racist war against the yellow man, the series on the battles in the Pacific has engendered new interest in American firearms used in World War II by the Greatest Generation. Well, E. Arthur Brown, which is a company that specialized in accessories for the Ruger 1022 platform, has one that is perfect if you're interested in those guns. You can now turn your Ruger 1022 into an M1 carbine, exactly like you're seeing in the Pacific. The 1022 may be the most malleable gun ever made. You can turn it into anything from an anti-aircraft gun to a sleek target rifle, and now to an M1 carbine. And hey, the brown version looks amazingly like an M1 carbine, operates like an M1 carbine. So if you're watching the series, you might want to check that out. Maybe next time we'll be able to turn the 1022 into, hey, a phaser. Coming up in competition this week, the U.S. Steel Nationals in Titusville, Florida. Now, that's the national championships for Steel Challenge type shooting. The Steel Challenge itself, of course, in August in California, is the World Championships. Look for six-shooter Max Michel, who is having the year of a lifetime to repeat his victories from 2008-2009. Finally, fashion news that you can't use. When I appeared in this shirt on Shooting Gallery, the Outdoor Channel Facebook page was flooded with people wanting to know where to get their own Apocalypse Now Hawaiian shirt. Well, unfortunately, as near as I can tell, this is the last one remaining in the world. They used to be available in the tourist shop at the old Nebom Cupola winery, but hey, now they're upscale. They don't have any trashy things like this, so sorry guys. If you want a Hawaiian shirt in Apocalypse Now pattern, you're going to have to make it yourself. Remember the upcoming Second Amendment March, Washington, D.C., April 19th. I will be speaking along with a lot of other great people from the Right to Keep and Bear Arms battle. And anything that we've talked about here on the video podcast, you can, of course, find the link on Downrange Television and OutdoorChannel.com. So until next week, even though your heart is breaking because you can't have this shirt, I'm Michael Bain for OutdoorChannel.com and Downrange Television. We'll see you soon.